The streets of Newberg, Oregon don't look that much different now than they did 100 years ago. There are more cars. They move a little faster. There are more people. They move pretty much the same. And the homes that line the streets in this quaint Willamette Valley town, well, they're relatively untouched by time.
Well, we've always wanted to live in a downtown area where we could walk to grocery store, to the library, the cultural center here in Newberg. So we had always been taking a look at this general area.
Well, a few years ago, a parcel of land in Bob and wife Marion's dream Newberg spot did come up for sale. There was just one hitch. It already had a house on the land, and that house, unfortunately, was past the point of saving. So the owners had three choices. They could bulldoze the old building, certainly not the most environmental choice. They could donate it to the local fire department for a practice burn. There were a number of reasons that wasn't going to work either. So they picked the third option, and that is to take it apart, piece by piece.
Cost differential wasn't that great, and we felt a lot better of not just bulldozing it down and taking it to the dump and being able to reuse some of the materials. In fact, some of the materials from the foundation was a lot of old brick, a lot of it crumbling and just not worth reusing, but some of it was. So we basically provided that to some of the neighbors, and they've used it for little small patios and walkways. So part of the structure still lives on in the neighborhood.
The deconstruction took only 2 weeks. It'll go by a little faster in this time lapse. The build took a little longer because the couple had to sell their other home. And while their downtown dream is being built, they bought a little charmer across the street. Like their new old home, they very much want to fit in.
So there was a long dialogue about the, what architects like to call the vernacular of the neighborhood, and what informs the style of Newberg. And Newberg is a beautiful town, has a lot of history, and a lot of old houses with a lot of character. So the main aesthetic is what we call farmhouse Victorian or folk Victorian, which is just a real classic house, but with some nice details, a little bit more ornamentation than you would typically see on a farmhouse. Some scallops, some what we call gingerbread. So we added a few details without going over the top.
Neil Kelly design consultant Joel Fraley has been working with Marion and Bob on their new dream home for more than 3 years.
Yep. I want Bob and Marion to move in. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is not, you know, this isn't for me. This is our baby. We did it together. We designed it together. It was a collaborative process all the way through.
We acted as the general contractor on our last house. Marion and I enjoyed that process tremendously. It was a very successful build. This time around, though, we chose to kind of give ourselves a little bit of a gift and turn over that work to someone else. And we're very pleased so far with Neil Kelly's work, and Joel and Paul and the entire construction crew.
When it is done, it will look like 2 smaller homes instead of 1 large one. It'll fit the neighborhood better that way. When it is done, Bob and Marion can walk to the cultural center with ease. And when it is done, this new home will look like it's been here for 100 years.